This is Too Long for a Voice Note, a podcast about everything and nothing at the same time, presented by Claire
and Enzo. Our podcast is produced in London. Some conversations are just too long for a voice note.
Hey, he's Enzo.
And she's Claire.
And this is Too Long for a Voice Note.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Welcome back to our channel. Welcome back to our podcast. If you're listening, if you're watching, whatever you're doing, welcome back and thank you for
joining us again.
Tuning in
for another episode of
Too Long for a Voice Note.
Podcast about everything and nothing at the same time.
Like
we're buzzed today.
Guys, you have to get ready because this episode is gonna be like a wire ride. People are like, stop, skip, unfollow.
People on Monday morning drinking their coffee like,
we're like, can you all guys relax, please? If you need like an injection of energy to start your week, this is what you get.
We're here.
So, you're welcome.
You're welcome. How are you, Enzo?
All good. How about you, Claire?
I'm all good.
I was thinking because I was thinking what haven't discussed yet to share with our listeners that we haven't discussed about Eurovision.
Yes, Eurovision. We had a Eurovision. Well, you hosted. You and Rodrigo hosted our Eurovision party.
Yes.
And how
was more like Andis.
We hosted. Yeah, you hosted.
True. We are the hosts.
But it was more Andis very into Eurovision.
So we planned the whole party. It was actually my first full Eurovision party. I never watched because I've never been into it, and being from Latin America, I think for us it's not like a big thing unless I knew it exists because I like music, but I never watched it. So it was my first time watching the whole show.
We did watch it start to finish.
It was very much fun.
Who
was
your favorite?
I think definitely I have a mixed things because I think at the end I really like Chanel with Slow Mo.
Spain. She was really good.
She was. I think she's very beautiful and talented.
Super.
And the dancing. It's like high level pop star level.
Yeah.
It's like J-Lo and Dua Lipa meets with a Spanish twist.
Right,
it's
vibe.
I think she was really, really good. I think she has a very high standard performance.
Yeah, totally. Her dancing was amazing.
So I really like her. I think her song is very catchy. It's like a bit of generic pop song. Well, like Ukraine, which was a bit controversial. They won. A lot of people were saying very sympathy votes because people were like, people were voting for them to kind of support them, which is a bit weird, right? I think it's a whole conversation to have, but I feel like if we want to help the Ukraine, let's give them money, for example, not give them like a sympathy vote.
Exactly.
It's
I kind of felt like they were always gonna win, kind of. I kind of assumed that they were gonna win.
Because kind of like...
But then it seemed like, no, they weren't, and then they did. So it's a bit like... I mean, it was always going to be like a very strange year, I suppose. Yeah. But I get you, it's a bit like... Because we were saying like a bit darkly, like presumably they won't be able to host it next year. Obviously that's not going to be top of their list to be able to host it.
It's a bit strange.
Yeah, it's kind of like a moral dilemma, isn't it, there? Of like, should it have been more about the actual artists or should it have been... Blah, blah, blah.
Also, I feel like if we go there, not to get this too long, but it's a bit weird that we are celebrating Europe and the Eurovision while in Ukraine there's a whole war happening and we are all there like, haha, Eurovision, we're all together as a Europe and singing and blah, blah, blah. But then our European country, it's there and we are literally here singing and they're like, it's a bit complicated. I know it's not that easy like that, but I think it's a bit
thanks for bringing the mood down.
Yeah, I thought it was too much like high energy at the beginning and someone has to bring the mood down, okay? We need to level up a bit.
You're right. You're right.
So anyway, should we go to the topic because now we're gonna...
talking about mood coming down, so I think it's time for...
Claire's secret topic of the week.
Okay.
It's Clarita's... Are you bringing the mood down?
Yeah,
it's me.
I don't know if... this is something that I've wanted to talk about for a while. So this is a bit scandalous, maybe.
Scandalous.
And it might be... I want to say it might be quite triggering for some people, actually. Okay. Maybe... I don't know if it's so serious to put like a trigger warning. We'll discuss it after. I'm just blinking like
what are we going to talk about?
But I want to talk about cheating.
Oh,
I want to talk about your thoughts on cheating. I want to know if you've ever been cheated on. I really want to know if cheating can ever be justified. I want to talk about all of that. I don't think we can talk about cheating without talking about someone who we love is Esther Perel. Because if you don't know, like she's a therapist,
the goddess of the topic.
Yeah, cheating, and she's got a super famous TED talk called this. I can't remember what it's called. Something about, but her book is called The State of Affairs, and the TED talk has got like millions of views, and it's about like, can cheating ever be right, or blah blah blah, or like why. It's a really interesting.
Very interesting.
watch.
Yeah.
So go.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Cheating.
Tell me.
It's complicated. It's a very difficult topic. I think I learned with time that it's not so black or white. It's not one extreme or other, because I think when I was younger, I was a bit more like only being like, that's wrong, you cannot forgive that, that's fucking shit, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, there's like a lot of layers to it. It's not that easy. I understand some people, they cheat because they are maybe in situations that make them feel unloved. For example, it's not a justification, but just make thinking like why a person would cheat, I guess, right? Yeah. So I guess I cannot just judge straight away, even though I think I'm a person that I will never cheat. Well, I'm answering your question before.
Have you ever cheated?
I have never ever cheated to anyone.
Yeah.
Because I think it's not a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
I feel.
I would be so shocked if you cheated.
Yes.
It would not be you.
I think I cannot do something like that because I wouldn't be able to sleep. Not because, oh my God, my level of morals. No, it's not like that. It's more about like, I need to sleep at peace, you know? So I cannot think me doing that to someone else and being in the back of my mind, like having this double kind of life and doing this against the other person.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's way too much. I will definitely be the one going and like finishing or breaking the relationship, for example, before cheating. Will be like, I don't want to be with you, that's why I'm gonna just leave. Before, like, I'm not feeling good with you, so I'm gonna cheat on you. But I understand, like, I don't know, it's like, I think for me it's not a thing. I don't think I would ever do something like that. No. Never say never, but you know, I wouldn't like ever to be in a situation where I feel, you know, like feeling like, oh, I can just cheat now. You know, that would be because I would feel for myself. If I am in a moment in my life that I feel like, oh, I feel like cheating, is because of something is totally right where I am.
But this is interesting, right? And this is something that Esther Perel says about that she was looking at cheating. She's a therapist. Loads of people were coming into her office being like, oh, I'm having an affair. And she says this thing about like that somebody or some people often say, like, I love my partner, I would die for them, they're my world, I'm having an affair. And I think that for me, and maybe it sounds like for you as well, like that is quite confusing because you're saying like, I wouldn't want to be in a situation where I'm cheating because for you, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like that's probably like rock bottom, or like that that's you cheating is probably like you, like you're already out of it. But that's actually not the reality for a lot of people, you know.
Because then we go like when people, for example, if you're in a party, you're very drunk, and some people happen to cheat because they have sex with a random because they were so drunk and they got away with the moment and they were just like, oh no, I was there, I was drunk, was having fun, and we just let myself go and I cheat on my husband, wife, partner, whatever. So what about that?
I think there's different layers of cheating, and I think
intensities
there is though, right? Because for me what you've described is, okay, we're human and we can get drunk or fucked up, or we can be having a bad moment in our relationship and we can react in a less than ideal way. I think the way that you then choose, because we all make mistakes, so say that is a mistake that you make, if you view it as a mistake, then the way that you choose to come back, so e.g. like you maybe tell your partner the next morning, that's one layer. But then there's a different layer which I think I find it harder for me to get my head around personally, is when it's like two different lives essentially and you're basically in like two relationships with two different people. That is something like I don't know if they are the same or if they are different, but they feel like they're different.
If you have a partner and your partner is cheating on you, what you would ideally, I mean ideally it will never be ideal I guess, but what would be easier for you to process and what would be not that easy?
Definitely that, like I could definitely understand more, not saying I can forgive. I don't know if I'd stay with them because I'm extremely demon about cheating. I think for me it's something that is kind of, I mean I say that, but I think it is like a non-negotiable for me. I don't know if I would be able to rebound from that. But if somebody was like at a party having sex, I don't think I could forgive that, because for me, if you're drunk, even if you're drunk, you don't get from being at a party, drinks, to making love with someone, having sex with somebody, making love. Where did I was like, making love?
Making love, all right.
Where did that come from? That was weird. Making love. Hilarious. Having sex with someone.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you need to go to a room, you need to get undressed, maybe not, but it's a bit like, it's, you know, you have to like be like, oh, do you have a condom? You know what I mean?
How many moments to stop?
A kiss,
if you
yeah,
want
exactly. There's lots of moments, and then heaven forbid you've gone to have sex at their place, then you're in the fucking Uber. Oh no,
it's a lot of
whereas
choices.
a kiss can be like boom. You know, but okay, fine, you were drunk. Fine. If they then come to me the next morning and tell me, by the way, Claire, I was really fucked, I had sex with blah, 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 I think I could be like, okay, well, at least you had the courage to tell me.
But bye, bitch.
But probably bye, bitch, to be honest, because I know myself.
Interesting.
But an emotional effect, you've been having, you've been texting somebody else.
I'm going to kill you.
I will, it would just be like, I'm never going to speak to you ever again. Because it would be, I think for me, it would be, actually the intimacy would be more of the betrayal than the sex. I would rather just the sex than they're like, you put somebody's else's feelings ahead of mine.
Wow, yeah.
And also,
I found interesting about cheating, because I think it's this whole idea that we own someone else. I think it's a lot of ownership. And I feel sometimes, I wonder if we mask the ownership with the loyalty. That's something I think sometimes.
That's a good point.
I wonder sometimes if we are hurt, or we feel like it's really bad because it's against the loyalty we have to each other.
Yeah.
Or it comes from a ownership place, because it's kind of like we are together, so we own each other, and I own you and you own me, and doing something like that, it's kind of like you don't have the permission to doing that. It's a real. That's where I get cheating gets tricky, because how much. If we go there, what's loyalty? Like, if the person really will give their life for you and be with you there in the worst and the good and the bad, and they want the future and they want everything, but then they have sex with someone else, are they really like attempting with the loyalty you have? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they are, because it's like, it's that thing of like, my needs are more than yours in this moment.
But we have individual needs as well. It's a sexual need.
But,
I think that's a complication thing about cheating with only sex.
But then what about with people that have a really good sex life? What about people who are always having sex in their marriage and then they're
really
cheating?
Good point. Really, really good
it's
point.
Like, I can almost understand it more. I mean, I don't. I really wish I was more open-minded about cheating, but I just find it really hard. That's kind of why I wanted to have this conversation. But it's definitely. Like, I can get it more if you are in a sexless marriage, and
that makes sense.
The person won't talk to you either, or they won't go to therapy, because that can really happen. And it's not.
And out of being like reactive, you will like, I'm gonna cheat on this person. That would make sense. I think this topic is so interesting, because I think like cheating comes a lot with the ways that the way relationships are constructed, like the construction of relationships. Because the thing is like, and I feel it happens a lot that we don't have an open conversation. Even if you start a relationship with someone, you won't have this open conversation like, what's gonna be your relationship be like? You know, it's a bit weird to have it, but it's kind of like, it shouldn't be weird. It's kind of like, we're gonna have exclusive, we want to do date. We should be more about how we're gonna treat our relation, instead of being straight away, we're gonna be you, me, and that's it. Because I think for some people, and I think that's really like something natural, they need to have a more like freedom in their relationship, at least sexually speaking. There's some people that they need to have, or they feel they need to have sexual encounters with many other people. That doesn't mean they don't love you, for example, but that's what they need.
And then therefore be in an open relationship.
Exactly. Then that's why we have open relationships, I guess.
Because that I don't have a problem with. The open relationship, having sex with, it's nothing like that. It's the lying that I have a problem with.
Because you're not talking about it. You're
exactly. And also it's that thing of like, well, what are we then? Because I think in any relationship, what we're aiming for maybe is like complete trust. Even with a friendship, like it would be like, I don't know, I would be so hurt if you had a massive secret that you weren't telling me, and I would be like, oh, well, I thought that our friendship was safe. And it was like, I hate your hair straight.
It's fucking hair.
It's like, I've let you film 2 episodes and I hate it.
We're like,
Diablo. But like, it's like that, and I will be like, oh my god, I am so sad that you wanted to fuck somebody else, or you had this emotional connection with this other human, and instead of telling me before you acted on it, and then 6 months later I found out, or even worse, I found out not from you. I found out via a text message or something.
That's something we need to
I
get
think
to
I would
that point
die.
as well.
I think I would die.
But I feel the problem also is like I think the new generation, they won't have those problems as much. Again, I think it's very our generation. But I feel like we don't have a space where we can sit and talk and be like, hey, I'm feeling like I want to have sex with someone else. And the other person be like, oh, is it? How come? From when? You know, it's not like that.
Yeah.
For some people, probably it is like that because they have that thing. But I think most of people, as society, as how everything's constructed, it's not natural to sit and tell you, I love you, right? But I feel like I need to have sex with someone else. And the other person will be like, oh, since when? Why? Okay, you need time, you need space, you want to do something about, that's most unlikely that will happen.
Yeah, you're right.
So people will be like, ooh, I need to hide this.
Especially in heterosexual.
I think heterosexual, they have that, because of course then it comes like, the church, the Catholicism, the Bible, God, and all these excuses that we're still having, and society, blah, blah, blah. So I guess like in a heterosexual relationship, more like, not only, but it's more like, oh, you wouldn't, how can you tell the wife that you want to have sex with another woman? The other wife, if the wife accepts, they're going to be like, oh, you're stupid when you're accepting your husband to have sex with another, or the other way around. So I think that's the core of this, that I think, and that's why I say like the new generation, probably they're a bit really ahead of this, because I think they are more, there are a lot of spaces to talk and discuss stuff, and I'm sure like if they need to talk about this, it will be a natural conversation.
Yeah, you're right.
While in our generation, it's a bit like, how long are we gonna have this conversation? So I prefer to go and cheat and to lie.
Yeah.
Which instead of lying, I could just sit with you and be like, I'm feeling this, but I want to work this out with you because I want to be with you. But I'm feeling this, and we are humans. We can feel things many times during our life, but that's the problem, and that's why, of course, then open relationship comes, because obviously open relationship is kind of like, we have a commitment, but we can have our freedom to do things, and we can close it wherever we want, blah, 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 blah. But I think for me, it's part of that, I think if we talking about trust and about connection, about loyalty, we should be more open and aware and able to talk more about when we feel that. Because if I feel it, honestly, I would be very scared to share it.
Yeah, because you don't know what that means for the relationship.
Because we are not built to be like...
But it's weird though, because it's like we say, which I totally agree with, you're like, if I say it, then it's scary. But then why do we... It's bizarre to me that like... It's like I'd rather, which is what most people do, I'd rather just have an affair or fuck somebody else and hope for the best or whatever than like, because surely that comes with a lot of discomfort and like shame. Say it's like shame. A long-term thing, a long-term affair or whatever. You've fallen for somebody else, but you still are in love with the main person. But you're like, well, okay, we'll just go there. Then rather just be like, rip off the plaster and be like, I know this might mean that you might leave me, but I'm in love with somebody else. I still love you.
How we do this?
How are we going to do it?
Yeah.
Because it's both really risky, but then I think a lot of people probably think, because humans can be very dark, a lot of people think, I can get away with this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if it's a long-term relationship, I think it's way easier.
Yeah. You mean if you're together for a long time?
Yeah. If you've been together for 6 years and this happens, I would be like, Okay.
Or is it worse?
I think I will understand it more.
You would.
Because, you know, when you are with someone with so long time, sometimes, you know, the spark goes, the passion goes, you get too used to, then you're just like friends that love each other, but they're like just friends. So something happened because you were in need of something. And I think I will understand more because it's kind of like this human thing. Like after many years, maybe things get a bit cold and it's not the same. You don't feel the love as you used to feel. So it will be like, well, I kind of get it more, but I feel like if I'm with someone for a year, this person cheats on me. I think it's a bit like, oh, well, we're in the peak of a relationship and you're cheating on me. It's like a bit like,
then that's more.
But then you can say like, oh well, but maybe this person doesn't know you as much, doesn't love you as much yet, so that's why we'll do it. But I don't think it's like that. I think it's more like, yeah, it's like we're in the peak of a relationship, but you're cheating on me. Like really, like that's bad. If we are like in a really low moment after many years, I think, well, you know, we're humans.
Yeah, that I could understand more. Like if we were going through like a really rough patch. Yeah, that I could forgive because maybe I could too. You know, who knows? Like maybe you haven't had sex for like a year, or you've just had a kid, or something like that, or you have money problems. Or whatever. I could understand that more if they actually come to me and tell me. But what about an emotional affair? Is that something you could? A long-term emotional affair?
No.
What is that about? Why is that worse?
Because it's kind of like, I guess it's come from that thing I was saying before, like ownership masked with loyalty and all of that, which is a very tricky feeling. But the fact that what you say, if you're having a double life, if you're not telling me you spending hours and hours with someone else, which, you know, like, oh, well, we're individuals and we can have our individuality, but it's not, in this case, not about that. It's kind of like you are having like a secret life from me. And if you choose to live a life with another person, that means that you will share most of things, right? I mean, you can keep things for yourself, but not things in that level. Not things like you are seeing someone, not telling me you are having dinners, you're having going out, you're maybe trips, who knows, with this other person. And you are not telling me that, so basically you are lying me about this whole piece of life. Yeah. It's not like you're lying me about you have sex with a random in a bar that we don't even know what's the name. You know, it's like you are having like a second person that it's not your friend, it's more than your friend, and I have no idea about this. I think for me, I wouldn't be able to forgive that because that would be like. That's why I like to be like clear and open and honest. You know, like. I cannot believe like someone for so many years not telling the other person that person exists. Yeah. That's fucking bad. I think that's really, really bad.
Because that's the thing. I think in a relationship and this is why an open relationship I think can work. Yeah. Because it's none of those like logistical lies. Yeah. Because I would be like, wait, when you said you were in Paris with blah, 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 you were actually in like Rome with her. Yeah. Like those kinds of like those deep lies, because you should at least know where your partner is. Because in any relationship that's the thing, it's the same, it doesn't really matter, it's just like you, at least what you're saying, you can trust that is what it is. And I think that's the root of this is like, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? But it is a bit like, it's a bit like, who are you?
Like, what the fuck? Like, I thought I knew you.
Right?
Even though, I mean, I do have to say, obviously, this is not as easy, and I think it's easy to judge.
Extremely.
It's easy to judge, but I think sometimes life gets into some weird scenarios, and then you might get into cheat someone else that you really love, and even though the core of it is not alright and it's something wrong, but maybe there's things happening at the same time that makes you be there. Yeah. It's not an excuse for that, but I think you cannot be like, oh, you are a bad person because you did it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It's not always like that. And sometimes things happen in such weird ways that then happens to be that you are there and you didn't make the right choices, you didn't step back in the right moment, then you're trapped there, then you don't know what's best, then you have another person in the middle. So you know,
that's the thing. I think it's important to say, because I think I have to admit that I think it's probably come across in this episode, I think I'm pretty judgmental with cheating, which I think I'm not judgmental. I'm kind of open-minded about a lot of things, but cheating is something that I really struggle with. Because I have been in a cheating situation like in my life, so I think that's probably like affected. I wasn't cheating, but I've been involved in it, so I think that probably marred it, like a really bad experience. But I think that if you cheat, it doesn't mean you're a bad person, and that's the thing. You can be the most amazing, incredible person, so it's really important to keep that in mind. You can be a motherfucker
as well,
but you can also be an incredible person, and you're right, and you just like fall in love with somebody else, and you maybe don't make the right choice, but who are we to say that we wouldn't be in that situation? And you're right, because your whole life is happening as well while you're in a relationship, and you just don't know like how
it's not only that thing happening,
and you can't. It's not black and white, actually. This is, I think, the thing with this. It's not black and white.
What do we think, Claire, that are a bit of solutions for cheating? Like, if we think cheating is bad, because also we have this old thing, some people, they cheat on their partner, and then this typical thing like, oh, I cheated my husband or my wife, and after that I really realize it comes back to me that I really love that person more than ever, that I shouldn't do it as the person of my life, I just need like a reality check.
Okay.
This typical thing. Okay. I think I heard people saying that these type of things, very like, oh, when I cheat on my wife or something, it's like, oh my god, what the fuck I'm doing, this person is the person I love, because maybe sometimes you are some trap in life or whatever it's happening that you forget actually things, and then you're like, oh my god, well, I didn't know that this person is my person, I don't need to be with anyone else. So we have that as well. But what do we think is a solution? What can we do to, like, if we're thinking cheating obviously is not a good thing, at least for us, what do we think are healthy ways to try to change this for the future, or maybe even for us, because maybe here we're speaking for us in the future, we don't know. Maybe we need to listen to this episode later. Like
I
in
know.
a few years, like, oh my god, what did I say there? I don't know what the fuck to do. Fuck. What Claire was saying here. Like, rewind.
Or like our partners watching like, oh shit.
Like, oh shit. Reference.
So again, so basically what am I answering again? What would be the
what can we do to
stop this, or if it happens,
or make better instead of cheating? What are the things that we can do?
I would say couples therapy, for example. If you feel that you are having, because I don't think that, this can be completely wrong, but I would say that I don't believe that cheating just happens, because I think even a drunk kiss doesn't just happen, because I don't think you go from honeymoon, yes, oh my god, I love them so much, to I'm in a party, boom, I kiss somebody else. I think that some disconnect has happened. A kiss is instantaneous, but do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think maybe not, but maybe some different things kind of thing.
It's like you woke up today and like, you know,
everything was great, we went for brunch, and then I kissed somebody else at a party. It's like some stuff has happened, for example. So I think, like, maybe when you're feeling those feelings, maybe let's try to stop it in its tracks and say, I think couple therapy, but also if couple therapy doesn't feel right for you or isn't an option for you, I would also say something that I think about a lot in all relationships, and it's this thing about rupture and repair. And I think about this all the time when we have any, like, which we all do, there's something like, and so I don't really agree with what you're saying to me, I need to tell you this, and it's a risk, right? Because you're scared, I don't know how Enzo's going to react. Is this going to be the end of our friendship? But the real test of a relationship, any relationship, friendship, your romantic relationships, whatever, is the ability to rupture and then come back together. So if your relationship can't take, by the way, I know this is really weird, but I have a crush on this guy at work. I haven't done anything, but I'm feeling like, give it 2 more work drinks than I might do, for example, then if the person is like, fuck you, then maybe they're not your person, because you can't be honest with them. And I know that's very easy to say, but I think for me, that's the relationship that I'm aiming for, that we're strong enough to stop it, or to not, it doesn't even mean to stop it. It's like, maybe we have a threesome then. Maybe we open up the relationship, but at least we've tried. to or maybe it might be
As
like
a
I'm
team.
just too jealous because I can't go, but at least you didn't cheat on me, thanks. That's kind of how I would approach it.
I think that's a really good point.
Thank you.
Really
What
really
about
good.
you?
Yeah.
Any?
No, I was thinking about it. I mean, couples therapy seems like shit. I have to say. Like,
Really?
not like shit. Like it doesn't work. No. Not like it doesn't work. I'm not saying that. But it must be so fucking hard. Like, I really I think like the couples that are like open to have couples therapy, they're very brave, and it's kind of like, because it means that you want to solve a problem, and it must be so hard to be in this position with one other person that's a therapist. I feel like it must be so draining at the same time. It's a lot of work. So I think it's like, well, you need to be very brave. You really need to make work whatever it's happening to solve. And I think that's very like, wow, okay, that's real love. That's something real happening there that you are even open to. Because I'm thinking like, wow, if I have to go to couple therapy because I really
would you
care
die?
about
Would you be
that
like,
person, I would be like, oh fuck my life. But I really need to like care about. I need to really love this person, you know, to be like, oh fuck, you know, like why we are here, why, you know. But it's an important tool that I do believe, but I do believe it must be really, really hard.
Because we change as well, like we change and our partner changes, and maybe
Or views change.
Exactly, like you have like a kink that you didn't know that you had when you started dating.
True.
And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my god, I really like this, for example. And
we're not like a mug. You know, we are something that's always
Mutable.
in a process of mutual changing.
Like,
So what if, even sexually, what if there's something changed?
or you you have always kind of questioned your sexuality, but you've always said, no, I'm straight. But then actually, as time goes on, you think, no, I'm gay, or I'm bi, or something like that.
True.
It's actually like, I think it is very easy to sit here and say, no, I wouldn't act like this, no. But you really don't know, and like...
Realities are so diverse.
Yeah, and I think also as humans, like, it's really fucking hard to risk losing someone you love. That's why it's hard to bring up things, and you hope that you're going to be able to get through it. But you really might not, so probably the easier option is to just cheat and hope that nobody finds out.
And hope for the best.
And that's kind of why, I think...
It happens a lot.
But does that make you a bad person? No.
Not
Does it make you a bit weak? Maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe,
yeah. Maybe it could be. I will be a bit like, okay, you're being a bit weak. But also the person will be, but I don't want to lose this person. That's why I'm doing it, you know.
But then I will say, you're being weak and you're being cake and eat it. Because you want me, but then you also want them as well. And you haven't given me the choice. So it's not completely like, I'm scared to lose them.
Fair.
You know? It's a bit like you want everything.
Yeah. I think for me, it would be ideal if in the future we don't assume so many things about relationship. When we are getting into a relationship, we don't assume that we're gonna be this and we're gonna be for each other, gonna be only you and me, because I think it's important to have this conversation early on. I know it's not that easy, which I think again for future generations will be more easier because they have less layers of stuff on them. In that sense, they're more open. But I think it's important to sit and be like, have you ever thought maybe that you would like to be with more people at the same time with me? Do you really want to be only with me forever? Or do you feel you're more of a person that likes to explore? Because a lot of people naturally, they're more like, I want to be one person and that's it. When I'm one person, I don't want to be with somewhere else. But some people are like, I can be one person, but I can be with 5 more at the same time. Those conversations that we need to have without shame.
Yeah, and it's
early on, so the person knows. Because
I was going to say, when you're dating, because then you know what you're getting into.
Exactly.
In a way, and you think, oh no, like I'm just not going to vibe with somebody wanting an open relationship. Nothing bad, but let's just call it before we've. And you're right, it is that you don't have those conversations.
It's difficult
because I think we're not. Again, always education. It's always like on a date. When I'm dating someone for a while, do we have the conversation of, are we exclusive? Do we talk about that's as far as we go in heterosexual?
And it's very hard to have the conversation.
Unbelievable.
Are we exclusive? It's like, come on. But it's hard for like
because you're scared. You feel like sick and everything.
And I think that's the problem, that we feel that way asking those questions. Nothing should be assumed, and nothing should be like given like that.
And also, I think it's not ever really too early, and I think we're afraid because I think this again is a topic for another week, but I think we have this so in our generation and in, I don't know if it's like culturally at the moment, I don't know what it is, but it's like play it cool vibe. And it's kind of boring.
It's fine.
But yeah, like
It's
whatever.
okay.
I don't care if you're fucking
I
10
don't
other people.
care.
It's completely
Yeah.
fine, but you really
Which is
do
not like
care.
that, yeah.
And I think we're scared to like, of course you don't want to say too early on, like, where are we going?
Yeah.
Because that's a bit scary.
It means tense.
And
as
it might
well.
make the other person run and you
Yeah,
might run,
yeah,
whatever. But at some point it's okay to like not be chill and to be like, so let's be honest, like, where do you see this going?
Of course.
Because I see it this way, do you see it this way? But that's,
definitely.
would I do that? No, I'd be like, I see it going.
That would be the ideal world.
Yeah.
But I think that would be a good point.
But wouldn't that solve a lot of issues if we had...
I think so.
So, little Encito, you have 60 seconds to give us your final thoughts on the topic of cheating. Ready?
Yes.
Let go.
I do feel, and really made me think that today, that I need to remember to be not as, I don't think I'm that judgmental, but to not judge people that are cheating straight away. Because especially we can, just as you say, we can sit from the other side and be like, that's wrong. But you don't know the whole backstory, you know? Like, if you know what's going on, if you know the details, then you can be sure be like, that's wrong. You're doing like, it's not the right, you know? But I think it's not as easy in cheating. We're humans. And I think like, it's weird because a lot of time cheating doesn't have to do with not loving the other person, but then there's other things that mix and like intertwine there. So I think that's important to not be that judgmental, but more open and understand what's going on there. And I think maybe open relationships are a good solution. Definitely for the future. I don't know if it will work for me, but maybe we just think it won't work because it's not part of a reality of like what we think it's okay. So who knows?
1 second. And you're done. Thank you. Oh, the beeping.
We got the beeping.
It's funny. It's like, I think, what you said about open relationships there, it's sort of like maybe you would, like, is it something you should only try if you feel like a longing for that?
Yeah.
Or is it something you should, I don't know. I think maybe if you feel like you want to do it, then do it. I don't think it's something that you need to do if you're not kind of feeling it kind of thing.
No, definitely.
I don't know if I will have time for an open relationship.
Time.
Do you know what I mean?
It's a lot of investment.
Because it's a lot of time investing in one.
Imagine like 2 or 3. Imagine like, having sex with me. It's a lot. You need to be like
very
a lot of free
present
time.
And
I mean, even if it's just sex, but I don't know. It's a lot of time. Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Well, there we go. Please, guys, let us know your thoughts on cheating.
Interesting topic.
I'm hoping this is going to start a conversation. Please let us know your thoughts.
Yes.
So anyway,
thank you so much, and see you next week.
See you next week. Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.